Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another week of Latinas Power Talk. I'm Kenya Vasquez. Thank you for joining us another week, amigas. I hope you guys are crushing your goals, whatever it is that you're doing. You got this. You can do it. I believe in you. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, you guys are kind of getting a little hint right now where we're at. Today's guest is none other than Clara Sanchez from Mis Raices Cafe. Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Bienvenida. ¿Cómo
Muchas
te sientes?
Gracias. Bien, un poquito nerviosa, pero estamos bien.
Es una conversación entre amigas.
Sí.
Entre amigas. But thank you so much for being so welcoming and having us here at your cafe. It looks beautiful.
Thank you.
Honestamente, it does feel like I am in Mexico.
Yeah.
Esa era como the idea behind it was to make it feel like you were in Mexico, algo muy tradicional de nuestras raíces, pues.
Yes.
¿Sí?
That was the idea. So the idea was to create like a little casita.
Okay.
You know, the casitas in Mexico, they're made of brick.
Yes.
So that was the idea, and made with talavera as well. So that's the vibe that I wanna. That was my vision, to provide like a casita vibe.
No, and you honestly, like when I walked in here, I was like, "Ooh, it feels very homey. It feels very like our traditions, you know."
Thank you.
But I was reading a little bit about your story, and I know we talked about it a little.
Okay.
Destiny just meant to bring you here to this place. I want to talk a little bit about how you got started and what led you to become a business owner, because I know you were doing this at a different coffee shop and then you just took a risk on yourself and said, "You know what? I'm going to do it."
I was working at a chain coffee shop before, so I started getting my passion there when I was working there. So when pandemic hit, I had to quit. So I told my husband, you know what? I was the lead of the coffee shop, so they were making me to work extra hours. They were making me to stay over there. So my husband was busy too, and we had the kids too.
You have two kids,
Yeah, we have two kids. So I told him, "Are you gonna help me with them, or do I quit?" So
¿O me ayudas o qué hago? ¿Qué hacemos?
yeah. So he's like, "Renuncia," and I was like, "Okay." I never been at home.
¿Cuántos años trabajaste en ese lugar entonces?
About 7-8 years. And I was scared, I was scared to quit because I had my own money since the beginning. So I stayed home and, I kept doing my coffee over there and making coffee for my friends, for my family, for my husband, for my brother, for whoever wanted coffee. I was doing something else before creating the idea of Mis Raices. So I was like, I need to do something for, just for fun, to do something. So I create a boutique, an online boutique. And I was like, okay.
Of clothes.
Clothing,
okay.
yeah. So I'm like, I'm just going to give it a try. So it took me a year to realize that was not working and that was not my thing. Also, my daughter was seeing that I was just doing it just for fun. And one day she came and she's like, "Mommy, you know that you have to do things because you really want to do it and not do it because the money. And I'm like, okay.
And your daughter told you
Yeah.
this. ¿Cuántos años tenía?
I think she was like 11. She's a very mature girl.
Yes.
Yeah, so...
Y eso, me imagino que te abrió los ojos y okay, hold on. What am I doing? Like, if my daughter is seeing this, if my daughter is telling me, es una señal.
Yeah.
Entonces,
Yeah, so I was like, okay. But it was not something that I was liking, like taking the pictures and doing stuff like that. But I won't regret doing it too because I met a lot of people through the boutique that I create too.
Yeah.
I hire PRs to model for me. And now one of them is my good friend. So it's something that probably I had to do it. Otherwise, I wouldn't met her too.
Yeah.
And the other people or the people from the events as well. So anyways, my husband was like, we need to stop. This is not working. We're just wasting time and wasting money and blah, blah. So I was like, okay. He's like, we need to do what you like. We need to open a coffee shop. And I was like, no. And
You said no first.
yeah. And I'm like, I'm scared. And he's like, no, let's look for a trailer so we can do it. And I'm like, okay. The time kept passing and I was like, I need to do my coffee. I need to do something. So I'm like, I want to do something different. You can find like a lot coffees from Africa, Asia, Europe, from everywhere. But you cannot find a real good coffee from Mexico or from Latin America. So I was like, if I do something with coffee, it must be from, South America or Central America or from Mexico. That was my idea. So I started looking for coffee beans. So I found these coffee beans that they were from Chiapas. I did my research, and I'm like, I'm just gonna try it. So I bought a bag that it was already roasted, and I really liked it. So I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna buy 5 pounds. I'm gonna buy a little roaster, and I'm gonna roast it myself. But before that, I was already thinking of the ideas for the name, and I'm like, I want something that it has a really meaning. Yeah.
Close to your heart, yeah.
Yeah, and not something just for the name.
Yeah.
So I worked really hard on the name. I worked really hard on the logo because I created.
You did it.
Yes.
You did it yourself.
Yes. And I'm like,
Nice.
I'm not hiring nobody to do it because I want to see my ideas. I want to bring it alive by myself. So I tried the roasting thing, and I'm like, okay, I watched YouTube videos to learn how to roast it. It came out good. And then I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready. I had $500 saved from the boutique, which I used it to buy the roaster and the coffee bean, little bags, and something else. I forgot what it was. And then I started thinking of the name, and I'm like, okay, I want it to be something mini with like Mexico, and I'm like, mi pueblo, no, this, no, and I'm like, okay, something else. I'm like, my roots. And I'm like, my husband was like, no, something in Spanish. Because we had the idea before of opening something a long time ago. Like I'm talking about 2017, 2018, but that didn't happen. So
Yeah.
we already had the idea.
So como que la espinita ya estaba ahí desde
Oh,
mucho
yeah.
antes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was
Yeah.
there. And good thing it didn't happen because when the pandemic hit, everything was closed.
Yeah.
So when that happened, my husband was like, qué bueno que no abrimos nada porque si no hubiéramos tronado como huevos güeros. And I'm like, I know. So it was not the right
But it
time.
honestly, like, all kind of lined itself into place,
Yeah,
don't you think?
it was not the time to
Yeah.
do it.
Y honestamente el que quiere puede, porque como estabas diciendo tú, like you didn't know about like coffee, you didn't know what a good coffee from Central or South America was, like ni siquiera de Mexico. You didn't know how to do a logo, but you figured it out. You didn't know how to roast them, but you looked it up on YouTube. Y honestamente el que quiere puede.
Sí.
Y no necesitas un chingo de dinero para empezar un negocio. Like sí, es mucho labor, es mucho trabajo, es mucho dinero que le tienes que invertir en algún punto, pero I think el que quiere puede. Y honestamente, like your story is like an example of that,
Yeah.
honestamente, because I mean, look how far now. Fast forward,
I know.
and it's like you've been here since 2022. You know?
Yes. Yeah. So with the logo, the name,
Yes.
Raices. So the R stands for my husband's last name, Ramirez, and the S for my last name, Sanchez.
Okay.
And then the two hands, his hand, my hand, holding whatever, or everything that we have built since we're together, and holding our two kids. So you can see it. The two little leaves are my daughter and my son, and whatever we have built through the years.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
That's what it means.
I love that.
Yeah. And then obviously the year that it was created, the name with the little coffee bean. So that's the meaning of the logo.
Y ahí nació Raices Cafe.
Yeah.
En el 2021.
En el 2021.
Yes.
So a lot of people doesn't know what Mis Raices means or why the R and the S are bigger than the other ones.
Yeah.
Or the hands. So I created. And then the big bean, that's like our house or heart. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
How does it make you feel? So obviously now you have these awards of like you won the 2023 Best of Phoenix, for the best Mexican coffee shop.
Yeah.
Has llegado a un punto donde la gente te reconoce because you have a lot of followers and you have a lot of people who love your coffee.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel like when people come in and they're regulars, when they say, and when they give you these awards?
Honestly, we feel, and I'm talking about the whole team, not just me or the name, the whole team, very humble and very thankful for everybody who has supported us. And I know the people who comes is because they love the girls, because I'm not here all the time, and it's because them too. They put a lot of work, they put a lot of love into the drinks too. And I'm always sure that they're making everything right for our customers. We were not expecting to have the Best of Phoenix too. We were surprised with Premio Nosotros, yeah.
Yes.
So that was another one that I'm like, okay, we have another one. We have
And
to
those
check
are
it.
ones that like people nominate you. No
Yeah.
es como si, you buy your award or
Award,
whatever,
yeah, no.
Like people nominate you. El público es el que te nomina and, elects you as a winner.
Yeah, and I feel proud too and happy because my kids they see it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, wow, mommy has the best coffee shop in Phoenix. And I see that they're happy too. And they enjoy it. And, everything what we're doing is for them too.
Yes.
This is not the only business we have. My husband has his own business too. And they feel very proud of him too, what he's doing. And it's not just the cafe, but, the coffee shop is known a lot more than his business.
Yes. So you both are business owners then.
Yes.
Do you guys ever feel like guilty sometimes of like you invest so much time in your business that does it ever feel at times like I'm not a mom, but I always think about this and it's been my worry for years, I think, through this podcast and hearing other women, and I want to hear what you think. It's kind of gone away, but I know there's a lot of people out there that get scared of doing their own business because they're like, oh, it's going to take time away from my family. It's going to take time away from my kids. Were you ever like found yourself feeling guilty of all the time that you were here and not with them?
In the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah, because I was here, 7 days a week from opening to close. Mm-hmm. And they were like, why you're never home?
They did ask you.
Yes.
Wow.
You're never home. I feel bad for you, mommy. You're working a lot. And also, like, they're like, my husband had his grind time when he started his own business that we didn't see him like during the summer. And now his business is being more than mine. So he's already managing everything better. Right now he's in Mexico. He's enjoying vacation.
Nice.
Yeah. So we already had the balance.
Right.
Yeah, including myself. So I already know how to balance work with my family. I don't come on the weekends anymore.
Nice.
So that's one thing that I'm like, I have to learn to leave or to let the girls run the business or the shop by themselves.
Which is so hard because I feel like no one takes care of your baby as much as you.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's part of being a business owner, that you have to let go.
Yeah.
Si no, te vas a quemar. Like, you're going to burn yourself out.
No.
Yes. At what point did you feel like, okay, you know what? I feel like I'm in a good place to stop coming on the weekends and just let my team and trust my team that they can carry it on without me?
After a year.
Really?
Yeah.
Was there like a certain thing that like you saw or needed to accomplish first until getting to that point?
The main thing, it was labor. So I'm like, I have to save on labor first because, it was our first year. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to have enough to pay rent.
Pay people.
Yeah.
Yes. And pay people.
them.
Yeah.
My biggest thing to pay all the time is rent and labor. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to have enough. So I was not paying myself. And I'm like, I'd rather work and save that money. And, when it's the time, give them the hours, give them the work to them. Now I can say that during the summer, I didn't come at all. I came just to check on them.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's good because, I am able to provide them a little more hours and they're happy. Sometimes I feel like I need to go see them because they're probably going to think that I'm forgetting about them. And I just send a text, hey, girls, I'm here just checking up. Estoy al pendiente, okay? Because I have the cameras too. So I'm like, las estoy viendo. Las estoy revisando. And also I have my really good friend, my comadre, that she works over here with us. So I know she takes care of the shop because she has seen how we work for, to create it. So I know she's on top of everything too when I'm not here. So I'm not worried about it when she's here. And even when none of us that are here, I'm fine. I know they're doing their job. I know they're doing everything they're supposed to do. And if something's wrong, they'll call me and they'll let me know. But I don't have to worry anymore about.
You don't stress anymore.
No, just on this time that I don't have enough coverage or enough stuff. That's when I get a little stressed, but nothing that we can handle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's beautiful, and I think that's something that I'm learning as well. Of just like you have to let it go, like, and you have to also find that balance and also create boundaries. Create boundaries of like, yes, your business is your baby, but at the same time, it's not going to take over your entire life.
Yeah.
I went to LA last week. And like I said, that has always been in my mind. I'm not a mom yet, but it's always been like, okay, I know that I love to work. And I always get worried of like, oh my gosh, like once the time comes to have babies and raise a family, how am I going to balance it all? Right. But I went to an event last week in LA, and I was getting mentored by some lady who's a self-made billionaire, and she's Latina.
Okay.
And she said something that kind of resonated with me. She was like, I worked really hard. She's like, and I was a single mom. She's like, and it got to a point where I looked back, my kids were older, and I was like, do you feel bad that you're like that I'm not here with you guys all the time? And they said, no, because we see you doing what you love.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's the same in your case. Like, your kids are seeing that you're loving what you're doing and that you're passionate, and that not also that, but you're also building like a platform for them too.
Oh, yeah.
And just like, this is just the beginning of everything. And I think they saw, I mean, obviously your daughter saw from the beginning that this was your passion.
Oh, she knew it. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I'm so sure that they're super proud of you.
Yeah, my son, he doesn't care,
He's too young.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's on
Pero
his own
algún día
world.
se
Yeah.
va a dar cuenta de todo el esfuerzo y todo el
Yeah.
trabajo.
No, he sees a lot on his dad. So,
Really?
yeah, so, because he's a boy, so
Yeah.
he always tells me, I want to be like my daddy. And I'm like, okay, you can be like your daddy. And I know my daughter, she's seeing more like, she wants to be like mom. And she doesn't complain. I made her work. And I'm like, let's go. It's time to go to get milk. And she's like, okay. But, I mean, it's part of the
Para que
job, you know?
aprendan.
Sí,
Sí,
tiene que
la-
trabajar. And I told her, as soon as you turn 15, you're going to start working on the coffee shop. And she's like, really? And I'm like, yes. And she's like, okay. And you know what's funny? Because my parents, they had tortillerias in Mexico. So they made me work too
Yes.
when I was 12. So I've been, I know how to work. And in the beginning, I was complaining. And I'm like, why are they making me work so young? I'm only 12. Why? And now I'm like, thank you. Thank you
Yes.
because of that, now I know how to work and I cannot be at home. I mean, I enjoy my days being at home, just doing nothing. But I'm not scared of working. So that's something that I really appreciate and thank them for teaching me young. And that's something that I want my kids to learn too.
What was the hardest part about creating this business that you think comes to mind as like, you know what, this was a hard one?
I think believing that I was able to run a business, that I was believe in myself, because I was scared. I'm like, I don't want to do it. What about if we don't have customers? What about if they don't love our coffee? What about if we don't, make enough to pay for at least their rent? I think that was the biggest part because, creating the drinks, doing all that, that's easy for me. I mean, I just think on the flavors that I want to be mixed and I'll do it. But I haven't struggled a lot. I mean, I've been very blessed since the beginning.
Nice. Gracias a Dios.
Gracias a Dios, sí.
Yes. What advice would you give someone who's like wants to create some sort of business, a store, a boutique, a coffee shop, lo que sea, and they're like, where am I going to get customers from? And that's because I think that's a big fear for a lot of people who want to go into entrepreneurship. They're like, okay,
Yes.
pero ¿qué tal si no me llega nadie? ¿Qué tal si no hago un sale? ¿Qué tal si nada llega? Like, what advice would you give them?
You know what? Pienso que lo que nos ayudó a nosotros, it was the events, the pop-ups. Because we did it a whole year, doing, getting the whole weekend, getting up early, packing up everything. So I think that helped us a lot. The only thing that, you have to be afraid of doing the things. It's normal to be scared. It's normal to be nervous about everything. Or opening a shop or opening an online something. But it's just believe in yourself. Keep pushing. Keep pushing, yeah. And then promote a lot because where we get the most customers is from social media.
Really?
Yes. So we post and then we have a lot of customers. Oh, I see this on Instagram.
Yeah.
Did you have it? And I'm like, yes, we do. So,
I saw you guys on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So Instagram, it's a big platform for us that brings a lot of new customers. And I noticed it because when we released the coffee flight, we were posting like pretty much every day, a coffee flight. And we were like, selling a lot of them daily. Now that we're not posting that much about the coffee flights and we're posting about something else, flights are outside. And now we're selling lo otro. Yeah. So people see whatever we post on social media. Yeah. So it's just the advice. Believe in yourself. I know you can do it. And just keep pushing. You have to push like something posting to push a sale,
Yes.
promote.
You got to put in the work. No nomás se va a llegar. If you think
Sí.
everything's just going to come knocking to your door, like, no, you have to go out and get it, you
Yeah.
know? And there's networking is key.
Oh, yes.
Like, building community is essential, you know? It's not always what you know, it's who you know, you know?
Yeah, you know, and also, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I love and I enjoy going to events because if I haven't gone to the event that where we met,
Yeah.
we would have met. So
yes. So we met at an event.
Yeah.
Yes. And
So-
you were doing, you were selling coffee. She had her little pop-up stand. And, you know, I had seen you on Instagram already. And I had been wanting just like, not just like for the podcast, but I had been wanting like to come and get a cafecito here. Pero no se me había dado la oportunidad. And you were at that pop-up. So you
Yeah.
kind of came to me. Think about it that way. You know what I mean? You kind of came to your customers, you know, and had you not networked and been to that event,
Yeah.
which I'm sure you met either Paulina or Yoris, one of them, you know, through another
an
networking
event,
event,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So-
And honestly, like all those ladies, I met them through an event too.
Yes.
So that's good. Another thing that you should do too, going to events as much as you can.
Get involved.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't go to as many as I used to go before because, you know, I have my kids. I have to be at home making them food, helping
Yeah.
with the homework, for at least with my son. And my daughter, she's an independent girl. But since I'm here in the morning and I don't see them, so I just stay with them at home. But when I have the opportunity, I always take it and go to meet new people.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's essential. So
Yeah.
do the work y todo llegará a su tiempo, you know?
Exactamente.
How do you think every day, like obviously you're a mom, you're a business owner, you're a wife as well, you have family, you have a house to run. Do you think every day your priorities change, or is it like every day like, okay, le voy a dedicar ese tiempo a mi negocio, ese tiempo a mi familia, ese tiempo para mí, ese tiempo al gimnasio, lo que sea? Like, does every day look different for you?
It looks pretty much the same.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, for like over here on the business, I make my schedule. So I treat myself as another employee over here. So I put myself in the schedule with the girls as well.
Which I think that's important.
Yes.
That we forget to treat ourselves as employees, but we're also workers of the business.
Yes.
You know, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So you put yourself on the schedule.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
So if I'm on the schedule, you're going to see me back there working with them, taking the trash out, bringing milks.
Haciendo de todo.
Todo, sí, igual que ellas. So that's something that I wanted to do since the beginning. I'm like, I don't want to be just, you know, sitting over there and watching them working and not doing nothing because I don't feel that's right. So
Yeah.
I help them. When I'm not on the schedule, if I come and they're busy, I have to jump still.
Yes.
I have to help them.
Yes.
So when I'm on the schedule, you know, that's my day. I get home and it's pretty much unfortunately, we have a routine every day. Life over here is always a routine.
It is.
Yeah.
Always on the go.
Yeah.
You know, I see.
Yeah.
But what do you want people to know about Mis Raices Cafe? If they haven't been here, what do you want them to take away from this?
Okay, so we're Mexican inspired. Todos los cafés son inspirados en mi infancia. Everything that I had when I was a little girl. Horchata from lunchtime. Duvalin from La Tiendita.
Gansito.
El gansito,
El
yeah.
mazapán,
El mazapán.
yes.
So everything is inspired on what I had as a child when I was in Mexico. One thing that it's important for me that we treat customers the way they feel comfortable. So I want people to know that they're, you know, welcome to come over here and we're going to take the order on their language because we have a lot of customers that speak English.
yes.
So quiero que conozcan que vamos al café donde te hablan español.
Sí.
Si llegan aquí, you know, buenos días, ¿qué le puedo tomar? I always take their orders in Spanish. If they speak to me in English, I'll speak back to them in English. But my main thing is, you know, I like to focus more on my Spanish because, like I said, when I came over here, I thought I knew English and I didn't. And I was scared going to the stores. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to get. I don't know how I'm going to order this. When I went to get my first Starbucks, I'm like, okay, I like something cold and with caramel, and I don't know what I got.
Yeah.
But I couldn't sleep that day. I'm like, I don't know what I got, but you know,
That's not what I wanted.
No,
Yeah.
I was scared, you know, to ask questions because I'm like, what if I don't understand what they're telling me, what it is? So, so I want to people know if you don't speak English, we're gonna take your order in Spanish. We're here for you, and we understand your feeling if you're scared. So just come over here, enjoy a drink, and, just give us a feedback and tell us what we can do better.
Where did you lose your fear of asking questions? Porque siento que como mexicanas especialmente siempre nos dicen calladita te ves más bonita, quédate en tu línea. Like that's basically what like tradition in our culture has taught us of not being like preguntonas, I guess in a way. Where did you at what point did you stop fearing asking questions?
I don't know, but
Did it come with being a mom maybe?
I don't know. I was scared too when I had my daughter.
Really?
Yeah, I was scared.
Porque yo te veo ahora como una mujer empoderada. Like, you know what I mean? Sin miedo al éxito.
Sí.
Pues
ya lo que venga.
Lo que venga.
Lo que venga, sí, ya, o sea que ya estamos, que se puede, que podemos perder.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, honestly, I don't have the answer for that because I don't know when I lose that fear, but because I wasn't thinking about it. So now, honestly, I don't care.
Yeah.
I just go and
ask.
Yeah, whatever it comes, and I'm like, oh no, and I fight and everything.
Preguntando si llega a Roma, como dice mi mamá. Honestamente, like sometimes people ask me like, oh, why do you ask so many questions? Well, if I don't ask, I won't know,
And that's my daughter. She's always asking.
Yes.
She's always asking. I'm
Do you think she's going to be a business owner too?
Yeah.
You see it in her?
Yeah, and I see her doing things that I used to do as a little girl.
Yeah.
But I think I see her being a business owner, and
Nice.
I know she can be one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for taking time to share your story.
Oh,
I know
thank
I
you.
learned a lot.
Thank you.
And I hope that some other women out there, found themselves within the story and, also felt inspired to take a risk on themselves because thankfully, because you believed in yourself, now you have built this place where people feel safe, where people feel seen, and where they feel comfortable. Like it's very comfortable and cozy here. Y
Thank
hace
you.
falta un lugar así que te salude y que te haga sentir como si estás en México, en nuestro país.
Sí.
Porque honestamente aquí las tradiciones son muy diferentes. La gente no te dice buenos días, la gente no te saluda. Honestamente cuando entras a un restaurante.
Sí.
Y aquí es lo que necesitamos especialmente en la ciudad de Phoenix. So, thank you so much for everything.
Muchas gracias, Kenia.
Estar aquí.
Gracias
If you guys
a ti.
haven't came to Mis Raices Cafe, come and stop by. Where can they find you on Instagram?
They can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook as Mis Raices Cafe AZ.
Ahí está. So come and get your cafecito. Thank you so much
you.
for tuning in another week. I'll see you guys back here next week on Wednesday. Bye.